Yo, see this? This little piece of plastic is the most perfectly designed trap ever created in the history of money. It fits in your pocket. It's easy to use. It feels like free money. And that is exactly the point. Yo, the Money MC. You're pulling back the curtain on something that is draining billions, trillions of dollars out of regular people's pockets every single year. The credit card and the system behind it. Because here is what they don't tell you. Banks borrow money at 4 or 5%, then charged you 25% to borrow it. That gap, that 20% gap, is one of the most profitable businesses in the history of capitalism. Americans right now are carrying $1.2 trillion in credit card debt. That is the most in recorded history. And the banks collected $160 billion in interest charges from regular people in 2024 alone, up from $105 billion just 2 years earlier. A 52% jump in 2 years. Today we break it all down. How the trap works, why you fell for it, and it is not your fault, and exactly how to get out.
Let me give you the full picture first. 227 million Americans. That is more than 4 out of every 5 adults in this country. All of them carrying credit card debt. Combined, $1.2 trillion. The largest amount ever owed by American families in the history of this country. And it has been growing fast. Just 5 years ago, credit card balances have gone up by over $500 billion. That is a 66% increase in 5 years. While people were struggling to afford groceries and rent and car payments, they were also quietly being pulled deeper and deeper into credit card debt. The average balance per person carrying debt, nearly $8,000. And the interest those banks collected last year, $160 billion in 1 year from regular people, paying to carry balances they cannot shake. Credit card lending generates a 6.8% return on assets for banks, more than 4 times the average return on everything else banks do 4 times. That means out of all the things a bank can do with money, mortgages, business loans, everything, the single most profitable thing they do by far is charge you interest on your credit card balance. You are their best product. Now, before we talk about the interest rates, I need to tell you something that most people don't know. The banks didn't just build a financial product, they built a psychological weapon. MIT scientists put people in brain scanners and study what happens when they see a credit card logo. And here's what they found. The mere sight of a credit card, not even using it, just seeing the logo, activates the reward center in your brain. The same part of your brain that lights up when you see food when you're hungry. The same primitive, automatic response. It is not a coincidence. It was engineered. Here is how it works. When you pay with cash, the moment you hand it over, your brain feels the loss. There's actual discomfort. Scientists call it the pain of paying. That discomfort is a natural brake on your spending. You feel it. You slow down. When you pay with a credit card, that brake disappears. The pleasure of getting the thing is completely separated from the pain of paying for it. You get the item on day 1. The bill comes on day 30. Your brain never connects the two. And the banks figured this out decades ago. That is why the physical credit card exists. That is why it fits perfectly in your hand. Why the logo is everywhere. Why the tap-to-pay contactless system makes it even faster and more frictionless. Every design decision removes more of the psychological break between you and spending money you haven't yet earned. This is not willpower. This is not discipline.
The Money MC. Listen up, yo. Fits. The interest rate, the real robbery. The average credit card APR right now is nearly 25%. Some store cards hit 31%. Banks will tell you the rate is high because lending to consumers is risky. Some people don't pay back what they owe. That is their justification. But here's the truth. Pitfall rates on credit cards, the percentage of people who actually don't pay, is around 5%. That means 95% of people are paying, and yet the bank charges everyone 25% interest. The math does not add up until you look at the actual profit numbers. Here's where it gets outrageous. Banks borrow money from the Federal Reserve from depositors at roughly 4 to 5%. They didn't lend that same money to you through a credit card at 25%. That 20% gap, called the spread, is almost entirely profit after expenses. FDIC data shows credit card lending generates a 6.8% return on assets. The rest of banking earns 1.5%. Credit cards earn more than 4 times everything else they do. And since 2007, banks have more than doubled their profit margin on credit cards. The spread went from 8.2% to 17.1%. They doubled their profit, while your rate was still going up. And what do they use those profits for? Massive marketing budgets, rewards programs, the entire machine that gets you to sign up for another card, spend more, carry more balance, and pay more interest. Your interest payments are literally funding the advertisements that got you into this situation in the first place. Now I need you to stop what you are doing and really hear this next part. Because this right here is the most expensive mistake millions of Americans make every single month. The minimum payment, that number at the bottom of your credit card statement. It looks like a helpful suggestion, a reasonable amount, something the bank is doing for your convenience. It is none of those things. The minimum payment is a mathematically engineered trap designed to keep you in debt for as long as possible while extracting the maximum amount of interest from you. In the 1960s, banks required you to pay 5% of your balance every month as the minimum. That actually made progress. But over decades, banks quietly lobbied that number down to 1 to 3%. Why? Because the lower the minimum payment, the longer you stay in debt. The longer you stay in debt, the more interest they collect. Let me show you the math on a real number. You have $10,000 in credit card debt at 24% interest. You make only the minimum payment every month. Here's what happens. Your first month's interest charge is $200. Your minimum payment is maybe $250. So after an entire month of payments, only $50 actually went toward reducing your debt. $50 on a $10,000 balance. At that rate, it takes 25 years to pay off that $10,000. And you will pay back $28,000 total. You borrowed $10,000, you paid back $28,000. They made $18,000 off of you on one balance over 25 years. Right now, a record 15% of all credit card holders are making only the minimum payment. Only the minimum. That is the highest percentage since 2012. And 1 in 5 people, 20%, say they do not believe they will ever get out of credit card debt. And if they keep making minimum payments, they are mathematically correct.
It gets worse because there are traps inside the trap. Trap number 1, deferred interest. You have seen this. You buy a couch, a TV, a mattress. The store offers you no interest financing for 12 or 18 months. Sounds great, but there are two versions of this offer, and they look almost identical on the paperwork. The first is a true 0% APR. Interest only starts after the promotional period ends. The second is called deferred interest, and it is a completely different animal. With deferred interest, the interest is being calculated from day one, silently, in the background. You just can't see it yet. If you have even $1 left unpaid when the promotion ends, they hit you with every single penny of that backdated interest all at once. And they make the payoff deadline days before the statement due date. So even people trying to pay it off in full sometimes miss it by accident. 1 in 5 people who use deferred interest financing gets hit with this. That can equal 50% of the original purchase price, showing up as one massive surprise charge. Trap number 2, buy now, pay later. Buy now, pay later, Afterpay, Klarna, Affirm. Sounds different from a credit card. It feels different, but it is debt, and it is growing fast. 86 million Americans used BNPL in 2024. During the holidays, people spent $18 billion on it, and 25% of BNPL users are now using it to buy groceries. When you are financing your groceries, you are in a debt spiral. Here is what makes BNPL especially dangerous. Most of it is invisible to credit bureaus, so other lenders cannot see how much you owe. 66% of BNPL users are carrying multiple BNPL loans at the same time, and they are stacking up under the radar. Trap number 3, the reward scam. The rewards card, the cashback card, the points card. They make you feel like you are winning. You are not. Here is how it actually works. Every time you swipe a credit card, the merchant, the store, the restaurant pays the bank a fee of about 1.8% of the purchase. The bank passes some of that back to you as rewards. But the merchant baked that fee into the price of everything they sell. So every American, even people paying cash, pays higher prices at every store to fund the rewards that go to credit card users. And here's the real kicker. Rewards only benefit people who pay their balance in full every month. If you carry a balance and pay 25% interest, no cashback reward on earth covers that cost. You are paying hundreds or thousands in interest to earn back tens of dollars in points. The rewards are the bait. The interest is the trap.
Before we get to the solutions, I need to address something. Because the banks and a lot of financial media will tell you credit card debt is a discipline problem, a willpower problem, a spending too much on fancy stuff problem. And that narrative is designed to make you feel ashamed so you don't look at the system that put you there. Here's what the actual data says. 41% of credit card debtors, the single biggest group, are in debt because of an emergency expense, a medical bill, a car repair, a job loss. 33% are in debt from day-to-day expenses, groceries, childcare, utilities, the basics. Only 10% are in debt from retail purchases, clothing, electronics, things people assume is the reason. Most credit card debt in America is people covering emergencies and the cost of being alive, not luxuries, not irresponsibility. Add to that a system engineered to activate your brain's reward center. A minimum payment designed by algorithm to keep you in debt for decades. Interest rates that doubled the bank's profit margin while the Fed barely moved. Hidden traps in a fine print in a reward structure that punishes the people who can least afford it. You are not undisciplined. You are outmatched by one of the most sophisticated financial systems ever built. Yo, got a money MC. Let me walk you out. Here's the solution. Because knowing the trap is only half the battle, the other half is getting out. Rule 1, never pay only the minimum. This is the single most important rule. Pay more than the minimum every single month, even if it's just $20 or $30 more. Here's the math on why it matters. That same $10,000 balance at 24%. If you add just $50 extra to your minimum payment every month, you cut your payoff time from 25 years to roughly 10 years. You save thousands of dollars in interest. $50 a month changes everything. Hey, just $50 a month changes everything. Rule 2, the avalanche method saves the most money. List all your credit card debts from highest interest rate to lowest. Pay the minimum on all of them every month. Then take every extra dollar you have and attack the highest rate card first. When that card is paid off, take everything you were paying on it and add it to the next highest rate card. Roll it forward like a snowball. This is mathematically the fastest way to get out of debt, because you kill the most expensive debt first. Rule 3, the snowball method builds momentum. If the avalanche feels overwhelming, use the snowball instead. List your debts from smallest balance to largest. Ignore the interest rates, attack the smallest balance with everything you've got. When it's gone, and it will go fast. That feeling of winning will keep you going. Roll the payment to the next smallest. The psychological momentum is real and it works. This is one of the most powerful tools available. Find a credit card offering 0% APR for 15 to 18 months on balance transfers. Transfer your high interest balance there. During those 15 to 18 months, every single dollar you pay goes directly to reducing your principal. 0% of it goes to interest zero. This is using the bank's own competitive system against them. The key is, you must have a plan to pay it off within the promotional period, or the high rate kicks in on whatever remains. Rule 5, call and negotiate. Most people never do this. Pick up the phone, call your credit card company, ask for a lower interest rate. That is it. If you have been a customer for a while, if you have made your payments on time, there is a real chance they will lower your rate or waive a late fee. They would rather keep you as a customer at a lower rate than lose you. It costs nothing to ask, and most people never do because nobody told them it was an option. Rule 6, credit unions over big banks. Credit unions by law cannot charge more than 18% APR on credit cards. 18 compared to 25 or more at big banks. Credit unions are member-owned. They exist to benefit you, not shareholders. If you are in credit card debt and looking for a new card, a credit union card is almost always the better deal. Check your local credit union or look up online credit unions. Many are open to anyone. Rule 7, the BNPL rules. If you use buy now, pay later, follow these 3 rules. 1, only 1 BNPL loan at a time, maximum 2. Never use it for groceries, gas, or bills. Those are symptoms of a deeper cash flow problem that BNPL will only make worse. 3, budget the payments before you click. If you cannot see where those payments come from in your budget right now, you cannot afford it right now. Understand deferred interest before you sign. Anytime you see no interest, it's paid in full. That is deferred interest, not 0% APR. They are not the same. True 0% APR means interest only starts after the promotional period. Deferred interest means it has been running the whole time, and will all hit you at once. If anything remains, read the fine print. Ask the salesperson directly. Is this deferred interest? A true 0% APR. If they cannot answer clearly, walk away.
Yo, Money MC. This little piece of plastic, it's not evil. Used correctly, paid in full every month. It is actually a useful tool, but that is not how most people use it. And it is not how the banks designed it to be used. They designed it to activate your brain's reward center. They engineered the minimum payment to keep you paying for 25 years. Yeah. They built a two-tier system where people who can least afford it subsidize the rewards of people who can. They chose their home states specifically for weaker interest rate laws. And they doubled their profit margin while your rate kept climbing. Now you know how the machine works. Now you had the tools to fight back. The first step to winning any game is understanding the rules they never told you. If this video helped you see something you had not seen before, share it.
Put it in front of somebody carrying a balance right now who thinks it is their fault. Because it is not their fault. It is a system. And systems can be understood. And systems can be beaten. Subscribe to the Money MC.
Stay smart, stay solid, stay free.
Baltimore, MD, Washington, DC, Pittsburgh, PA, Long Beach, California. Sun is shining. Crack the code, no hiding.
We out.